Today, we're going to talk about why I stopped setting personal goals and how that decision has actually increased my productivity and happiness.
Life is beautiful.
So, I just did something that is going to shock the shit out of you. You ready for this? You're not going to believe it. I stopped setting goals.
It's very hard to believe, Michael. Very hard to believe for a checkbox
Maniac.
fiend like you.
Yeah, nobody loves a good goal more than I do. But I was doing my quarterly review and looking back in the last quarter, and I realized that the thing that really moved the needle for me, I had one of the best quarters, I think, in my entire life in the last quarter. I was the most productive and the happiest I've been in years, which was amazing.
Good for you.
Thank you. And I realized it actually had absolutely nothing to do with the quarterly goals. And in fact, I hit maybe 2 out of 4 of my big 4 goals this quarter. And it had everything to do with these daily rules and daily disciplines and daily habits that I had set for myself in the previous quarter, starting January 1st. And some of those habits include 10,000 steps a day, making sure I hit that no matter what. Calorie counting. If you've been listening, you know I started doing that halfway through, and that was absolutely game-changing. No matter what day it is, I'm counting my calories, and that was a habit that set me up for success. Every week, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know me and my wife have a check-in where we check in on our relationship, and we count each other's wins, and we figure out how we can move forward in a better direction. So, like, that really improved my relationship week over week. That habit kept compounding. And as long as I kept doing these daily disciplines, meditation, journaling, like all these things that like my daily check boxes, you could call them, then the quarterly check boxes were pretty much absolutely irrelevant because it was all about who I was becoming day to day. And wherever I was at the end of the quarter is who I was based on what I had control over, which was the daily disciplines. So rather than pick something next quarter that I could become obsessed with that is not necessarily in my control, for example, 185 pounds was one of my goals last quarter that I didn't hit. It doesn't matter if I hit that or not. What matters is, did I do the daily disciplines every single day, the things that were in my control? Because I ended up gaining too much muscle and not hitting that goal. And then I realized I was actually upset.
Yeah.
So what I ended up saying, as the black and white guy that I am, is, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck these quarterly goals. I'm going to do this experiment where next quarter there's no goals whatsoever. And my only goal, really, you could call it a goal, is to do the daily disciplines every single day.
I'm really happy that you have discovered that habits are more effective than goals. I think that's a very powerful concept to digest and take into your life. At the same time, I feel like your perfectionist is getting in the way of something that could be helpful, which is setting goals.
Go on.
So basically, you're saying you couldn't be happy because when you got to the end of the quarter, it was there. You were getting to your goals, and you were saying, "Oh, I didn't hit it, so I failed."
Right.
And you don't want to fail,
Right.
and that comes down to this identity of perfectionist.
Yeah.
Where for me, like I will set my goals in the beginning of a quarter, and then I won't even look at them again until the end of the quarter. They're kind of just there to set the direction for the daily habits and systems that I want to put in
So
place
you
to get there.
basically, you're saying you do both.
I do both, yeah. But I don't put as much stress on I need to hit these goals, right?
They're more so a direction.
They're more so a direction to get excited about, an identity I can get to if I get towards them, right? If I'm moving towards them.
Right.
And that's the trick here is it's not about what you get by achieving the goal. It's who you become in the pursuit of them.
Yeah. I think goals are about having things, whereas habits are about becoming someone.
Yes.
And I think the second thing, the becoming someone, is so much more powerful in life than having things.
Yeah.
Like, you can aim to have a six-pack as your goal, or you can aim to have $1 million as your goal, or you can be someone who eats healthy and works out every day no matter what.
But
where the goal ends up becoming inevitable on the other side.
Sure, but like here's where goals can be effective, right? So let's say you're 100 pounds overweight, right? You tell me, okay, walk 10,000 steps a day, count your calories every day, and you're going to make progress, right? Okay, that's great, and I can start doing that. But if I want to get like excited about something, I can create a vision and say, my goal is to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
That is a big vision for me to get excited about and gives me the energy to do those daily habits every single day.
I
So
see what
there
you're
is a
saying.
power in setting the goal to have that vision. And I'm not saying you're wrong for getting rid of them. I'm just saying I want to make it very clear that we're not saying that goals are bad. We're just saying that goals are not the top priority. The systems and the habits are the top priority.
Yeah, I think goals set the destination and habits are the vehicle to get you there. So goals put the point on the map,
Mhm.
and the habit is like you could put the goal on the map and then do nothing about it, and you'll
Yeah.
never get to that point
Yeah.
on the map.
The
Right?
habits are the engine.
That gets you to that goal that you need to go
Exactly.
to. So I think the like you said, the habits are more important. They definitely take priority over the goals
Yep.
because that's who you are every day. But there is a use case for goals. But I do want to try this experiment for me as someone who is that perfectionist mentality. I want to see if I could actually go next quarter and not have a goal and just be okay with because I wrap my identity up in achieving goals,
Mhm.
right? Like that is what I tend to do. It's what I've done for years and years and years in my life. And so I want to see it was scary to go into my next quarter. I'm not even fucking around. To go into my next quarter and say I'm not going to set any goals was a very scary feeling for me. It created a lot of uncertainty in my body.
Yeah.
It was like, so then who am I? What am I working
But
towards?
in a way, if you really think about it, you did set goals. You just set them a little differently, right? So your goal essentially now is to not miss a
My-
day of checking a box.
That's true.
So what you did was you just changed the way you set your goal to be from something outside of your control to something in your control.
Which is pretty powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think this was a good, nice little healthy debate. And I think if you're listening, you can take bits and pieces from both of our perspectives and see what works for you. And yeah, make it work. But I think the call to action for today and the main idea really is to turn your goals into habits.
Yes.
Because a goal without a habit or a system behind it is basically completely useless.
Yeah, I think this whole episode really can be summarized with that very famous quote by James Clear, which is you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. Another way of saying that is you fall to the level of your daily habits and disciplines.
Yes, sir. So the call to action is to take your biggest goal right now, the one that you keep thinking about every single day, and turn it into a daily habit. One thing you can do every single day starting tomorrow. The goal tells you where you want to go, but the habit is what's going to actually get you.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Love you.
Peace.